Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Kaga. Today's video is all about answering the question, how do you DD? For those of you who naval designations are not your first language, that would be how do we destroyer? Or better to phrase it, how do we play destroyers in World of Warships? To answer this question, or at least to attempt to answer this question, we'll look at the Tier 4 Isokaze. This particular vessel in the Japanese tech tree along the destroyer line is quite your typical destroyer, representative a little bit of both nations, well, the current two nations available in the game, that is the US tech tree and the Japanese tech tree. This ship does fairly well in describing both of them, well, representing both of them, sorry. At least in terms of tactics. You have everything at your disposal that every destroyer from here on out has. That is mediocre anti-aircraft armament, fairly punchy guns. These ones don't turn as fast as they might on a US destroyer. And center line mounted torpedo tubes of some description. So this is a domination match on fault line. Your typical domination match at that. And seeing that we have the destroyer advantage in terms of numbers, I decide to push that advantage into the Bravo point here. The idea behind this is to utilize the very punchy high explosive rounds that come equipped on the Isokaze in combination with the torpedoes, the excellent detection ranges that characterize the Isokaze, at least in comparison to comparable US destroyers like the Clemson or even the Nicholas. So one of the more common things that I see many of the young destroyer captains in World of Warships do is they're fairly uncreative in how they set up their attack runs. And in general, this might be due to a lack of situational awareness around them. I don't mean the skill, I mean the actual presence of mind about the ships in the area, the state of the map, etc., etc., etc. It could also be due to a lack of understanding of the capabilities of their ship. They might be trying to blanket statement the general characteristics of most destroyers in the game and giving them a cookie cutter set of tactics and strategies they will try to utilize with them. And as you can see, there was a very predictable torpedo spread against that Myogi that was going to sail clean past him because he saw it coming a mile away. So I see this Omaha approaching. I instantly slow down and I begin attempting to hide in this smoke screen. Keeping an eye on that Omaha. I'm expecting to have to dodge fire. I also admit I'd forgotten to turn off my AA complement. And now you see that I'm doing something much more creative using this smoke screen. I've given them a false impression that I've attempted to break off from contact because of the Omaha and merely only hidden in that smoke screen long enough to get torpedoes out, and by the time that this Myogi realizes that there are torpedoes in the water, it's too late, and there we go. Kill number 1, and a little over 40,000 damage to show for it. So, right now you can see the benefits of having situational awareness, both the skill and in your general map awareness. I see that Omaha, and he very clearly was not prepared for this attack run. I'm seeing the Clemson as the majority threat against me at the moment because the Omaha is very clearly trying to break contact, put some torpedoes in the water, throw up some high explosive shells, and we pick up an ammo detonation on the Clemson, probably based on where they hit. It was the torpedo magazines in the aft of the ship. I say that because of the proximity of the shell's landing point to the side-mounted torpedo tubes that are mounted in 4 rotating mountings, which are mounted 2 to each side of the vessel. So I had been aware that the Clemson had gone side on to us, so I had suspected torpedoes. I had begun turning out to attempt to put some extra distance between myself and the launch point that the Clemson had chosen to fire at, and as you can see, it paid off. He didn't have the torpedo range to get those to connect. Once again, we spied an enemy battleship when it was visible before coming around that island, so we decided to line up an attack run on him with the torpedoes that were now back online, and given that distance, he is not coming away from that one without a scratch, and we land all 6 torpedoes, pick up kill number 3. So now that we have sunk 2 battleships and a destroyer, I see the flow of the battle. It doesn't necessarily support me continuing to hold the Bravo point alone, as it were. So I decide that now is a good time, and also because I'm looking at the way the carrier planes are vectoring back to their home carriers, that now would be a good time to put them down and secure a decisive advantage in points, because we are slowly but surely losing our advantage despite having sunk more vessels than them, and more capital vessels at that. So here we are, we can see the carrier planes disappearing out of sight, and I suspect that they're hovering around back there along the J line, somewhere between 5 and 7. And I spy these torpedo bombers coming back over this mountain. I decide to turn out just as a precaution, just in case they might have some munitions. I decide to kite them to give myself a little more lead time. When the moment they've passed, I begin turning violently a little bit more towards port, because I know that that battleship has a firing solution on me, when all of a sudden a wild Hosho appears. And at this point, I will admit, I was a little dumbfounded by the fact that, 1, he's out in the open, 2, he's not moving. Wait, he's not moving. This feels like a trap. So I begin turning out again. Put some more distance between that carrier and myself. This should do 2 things. 1, it gives me a more ready way out through those islands if I need it. And 2nd, it keeps me out of detection range of the carriers and extends the amount of time that I have to react to them launching their planes and getting extra vision out. And as you can see, we take that Hosho out. It feels kind of weird that he was a sitting duck the entire time, but I'm not going to complain. Pick up the high caliber out of it. I see that the Langley has just launched his torpedo bomber squadron. I don't waste any time. I launch a spread of torpedoes. I'm detected in return for it. I didn't manage that distance very well, but I immediately turn out, and I try to not turn as much to keep the speed of the vessel up, to give my fish the best opportunity to sink the Langley before he has the opportunity to command them to attack. We're spotted again, but it doesn't matter, and take out the Langley before he can command his bombers to attack me. So at this point, there's a few things I could have done. I could have swung back around this island to engage that Congo. Admittedly, having had hindsight, this was probably the correct choice of action in this instance. I could have swung around to port to, again, deal with that Congo, but because that Omaha was last seen poking its head around the B point, I did not feel confident in the ability to engage that Omaha and survive. So I turned my sights on that St. Louis, and this is less a play for the Charlie point because it's already mostly capped. I'm here trying to position myself in such a way that if our Congo, or actually it looks like it's our Myogi, is unable to effectively deal with that St. Louis, I'm in a position to support him. And at the same time, if need be, I can egress into the B point to help the Wicks out in the capture, especially since that appears to be a Nicholas class destroyer. That'd be the tier 5 US destroyer. It's 2 tiers above the Wicks. Not that tiers really matter supremely much to destroyers in the game. Seeing that the Myogi has dispatched that St. Louis, I turn into the Bravo point to try to buy a little bit of time against the Omaha, which I suspect would be coming around the bend there, and there he is. I'm trying hard to stay out of detection range, but I reacted too little too late, so I pop smoke and slow down, turn in and out, trying to mask the presence of the vessel. I throw down a spread of torpedoes out of the smoke screen. He still knows what's coming, and that was a predictable move on my behalf, and therefore it was the exact wrong move to use in that situation. So now I turn around, and I'm preparing for another ambush attempt on... Oh, it's a Phoenix. Not an Omaha, it's a Phoenix. Ah, silly me. So there are 2 options we could do, and I'm going to do the first one right now, is to steam ahead up to the cape over this island to plant torpedoes around it, and then to turn around. Another thing that could have been done would have been to plant the torpedoes, activate the speed boost in a straight line, and get around the next island, and I think that's what I should have done, because I see that I keep going in that circle. That's not the best thing to do because it keeps the speed of the Isokaze down, meaning there is more opportunity for this Phoenix to engage me. But I give him the minimal silhouette by turning the vessel in this way. Unfortunately, I lost my sense of map awareness in trying to maintain my less than 1,000 health, and we pay for it when we find the forecastle of the allied Myogi, who had decided to turn himself into a parking lot, which confuses everyone, not just myself. I guess I can get why he decided to stop, because I was steaming straight that way at first. And I hope that thus far in this video it's been fairly apparent that the greater successes that I've had in this particular match were when I decided to make the best use of the available islands in an unpredictable manner. This capitalized and maximized the efficiency at which the Isokaze that I was driving in this match could deal damage and take as little as possible. So as you can see, we made a fair bit of credits on this one, almost 220,000 credits, and with the daily win that comes out to a lick over 4,200 experience and free experience for the match. So on top of the high caliber, we pretty much devastated the enemy with torpedoes with 17 hits that caused 16 floods, plus that detonation of the Clemson with our main battery guns earlier in the match. So it comes as no surprise that we were able to pick up the most kills on our team. Notable in the fact that we were able to more than double the amount of experience of the next highest person on our team. It's a great result for us. And it doesn't come as a real surprise to anyone if they had been keeping track of just the sheer amount of damage we were doing with our torpedoes throughout that match. It was a really great game. So, totaling up everything that we did comes out to somewhere around 64,600 and some change of damage. That is an absolutely gargantuan result at Tier 4. None of this comes as a real surprise since we managed to pick up the high caliber achievement in this match, and that takes a lot more than one would expect if one was coming from a World of Tanks background. So in the enemy warships damaged part of the results screen, it's easy to see why we were not able to pick up the Confederate award. We just didn't damage enough enemy ships. But the ones we did damage, boy, did we cleave off a huge chunk of their health. I hope that this was a very educational video for you. I wish you success on the battlefield, and I would like to thank you for having stuck with me for the better part of 17 minutes. If you like the content that you just saw, or perhaps other content on this channel, please consider subscribing. See something in the video that you didn't feel was explained properly, please let me know in the comments. I would love to help elevate your understanding of World of Warships, so please don't hold back. Once again, thank you and good day.